Released in 2019, the OnePlus 7T is one of the best phones of the company. I remember when I first saw this device, I was stunned how well it was made and how different it was from their other phones. By the time of this video, this device is more than 3 years old, but I have seen many people using it, and some still ask me if it is worth it. Today I'm going to answer that question. This is the OnePlus 7T in 2023. The 7T is made of glass and aluminum, and it still feels very premium while holding it. On the back it has a unique design that looks amazing even after all this time. My unit has been used for a long time, and of course it has many marks, but I think it is still holding very well. The design of the 7T alongside the 7 Pro in my opinion are the pinnacle of OnePlus. Officially the 7T doesn't have an IP rating, but in my testing it was fine even after using it once during rain. The OnePlus 7T has a 6.55-inch AMOLED display with a 1080p resolution and a 90Hz refresh rate. Even though it is more than 3 years old, this display is still amazing. It gets bright outside and it is very smooth. On the top it has a small notch, but it isn't distracting at all. I use this phone a lot for media consumption and I always love the experience. This panel can easily be compared with flagships of later years. When it comes to the software, as you can see, my unit runs Android 11, and even though it works just fine, I miss the new features of later versions. For a regular user, however, I don't think this is a big deal, since with Android 11 this phone is very smooth. When it comes to performance, the 7T is powered by the Snapdragon 855 Plus chip, which is still very good. With this phone you can do everyday tasks and play games without a problem. Sure, it isn't the fastest anymore and it takes more seconds to load the games, but overall it does the job just fine. For storage you have the base model that comes with 128GB, but as you can see I have the 256GB model. RAM is still amazing even 3 years later, since you can have a lot of apps open in the background without this device refreshing them. The 7T has triple cameras on the back, and surprisingly all of them are useful. That's because besides the main and ultra-wide cameras that are standard in every phone, this device has also a 2x optical zoom telephoto camera. This is something to be mentioned since the last phone from OnePlus, the 10T, doesn't have a telephoto camera at all. When it comes to image quality, the main camera can still take decent pictures with plenty of sharpness, even though the dynamic range isn't really the best. The ultra-wide and telephoto cameras are still acceptable, but they aren't as good as the main camera. If we compare them with some of the mid-rangers of recent years, I would say actually they perform better. Night mode is present here, but only the main camera does a good job, the ultra-wide camera not so much. On the front it has a 16-megapixel camera, and honestly it is the worst of all. Skin colors aren't as accurate and it lacks sharpness. The 7T can record videos up to 4K at 60 frames per second, and videos are fine, but only the main camera has OIS, so when recording with the other cameras the results aren't as stable. On the front it is limited only to 1080p at 30 frames per second, and videos aren't that good. The OnePlus 7T has a pair of stereo speakers, and sound quality from them is really impressive despite its age. They are still very loud and clear, and I never had any problems with them. This device doesn't have a headphone jack, but I think this is normal these days. So far I have only been praising the 7T in every way, but that's about to change since the battery life on this device isn't really that good. It has only a 3800 mAh battery capacity, and when we look at these numbers we can see that it is too small compared to newer devices. Since my unit is used, naturally the battery has degraded a lot, and when I use it nowadays it barely lasts me a couple of hours. If you are a light user, then maybe this device can last you for the most part of the day, but with my usage this was impossible. Charging on the other hand is still good, even though on paper 30 watts doesn't seem that fast. One feature missing here is wireless charging, and even though I don't use this feature on my phones, it might be a deal breaker for you. The main security feature of this phone is an in-display fingerprint scanner. It is an optical scanner, and it is one of the earliest implementations, so of course it doesn't work with screen protectors. The face scanner on the other hand is really fast and it works all the time. If you don't want to use them, you have always an option for a PIN or a password. So is the OnePlus 7T still worth it in 2023? The answer is yes, and the biggest reason for that is the price. This unit, for example, is on sale for $150, and for this price I think it is an amazing value for money. Sure, it is used and it has a weaker battery life, but it still offers a premium design, a good display and reliable cameras. I think a 7T in pristine condition is worth up to $250. For people that are heavy into tech, I don't recommend this phone anymore, since it misses many features that have been released in later years, but for average users it is still fine. So this was my review of the OnePlus 7T for 2023. If it was helpful to you, then a thumbs up would be appreciated. Thank you for watching, and please consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this.